ॐ गणानां त्वा गणपतिगं हवामहे कविं कवीनामुपमश्रवस्तमं ज्येष्ठराजं ब्रह्मणां ब्रह्मणस्पत आनः शृण्वन्नोतिभिक्षीदसादनं प्रणो देवी सरस्वती वाजेभिर्वाजिनीवती दीनामवित्रगवतो गणेशाय नमः सरस्वत्यै नमः श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरः ॐ श्रीमहागणाधिपतये नमः सदाशिवसमारम्भां श्रीकण्ठाराध्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्परां सदाशिवं शिवां स्कन्दं केशवं पद्मसम्भवं नन्दीश्वरं कुम्भयोनिं भरद्वाजात्रिगौतमान् नमोऽस्तु गुरवे नित्यं श्रीकण्ठशिवयोगिने श्रुतिसारशिवविशिष्टाद्वैत परभाष्यविदायिने जगद्गुरु श्रीरेणुकाचार्य मङ्गलं देहि प्रभो त्रैलोक्यसम्पदालेख्यसमुल्लेखनभित्तये सच्चिदानन्दरूपाय शिवाय ब्रह्मणे नमः सांब शिवाय नमः सांब शिवाय नमः सांब शिवाय नमः. So last week we saw the first part of the Vyasa, the first two verses of the Vyasa Ashtakam. This comes in the 95th chapter of the Kashi Kandam in Skanda Purana, and how Vyasa, after entering Kashi, makes an offensive statement, and then Vishnu himself comes down and says that he cannot be the supreme reality, only Mahadeva. By the grace of Mahadeva, he has acquired the status of being Vishnu. Yajnakarta Devendraha Vedakarta Hiranyagarbha Ahameva Jagatkarta Mamakarta Maheshwaraha. Oh Vyasa, please listen to me that Deva, that is Indra, is described as the Lord of Yajnas, and the Vedakarta, the Lord of the Vedas, is actually Hiranyagarbha. And I am the Karta, the Lord of this universe. But the cause of me, the cause of all causes, the cause of me is Para Shakti and Parama Shiva. Mama Karta Maheshwaraha. He is described as Sarva Karana Karana. Adavantecha Madhyecha Bhasase Nanye Hetuna Mayaya Mohitaha Shampur Mahadevam Jagadgurum Na Jananti Suraha Sarve Sarva Karana Karanam. He is the cause of all causes. And he is Sarveshwareshwara. He is the Ishvara of the Sarveshwaras, and he is the cause of all the causes. There is no cause for Maheshwara. And then he requests, if you want to worship somebody, the only object of worship, the only object of meditation is Mahadeva alone. So please sing a stuti about him. Please glorify Mahadeva alone. And then Vishnu disappears. And then Vyasa starts singing this Ashtakam. We saw two verses, and then we can pick up the third verse from now. Yad bano bhurchi patiryasya yanta lokesho yatsyanya nambu samasta vaha veda yasya yeneshu pata dadagdha gramastrai purastat samahkaha. So it says that we saw the two verses where actually Mahadeva he saves the entire universe. From the blade of a grass till Vishnu, everything were suffering by the Kalakuta. Vishnu turned black. Krishna Tamapa Vishnu. He turned black on account of the flames coming from the Kalakuta poison. And the Gati for everybody is Mahadeva alone. Brahma, Vishnu and Indra, they do stuti for Mahadeva. That Brahmanda Purana stuti, lecture part 1 and part 2 I have in my channel, and one can refer that the 15 beautiful verses sung by Brahma, Vishnu and Indra for Lord Shiva. They surrender unto Mahadeva to drink and to save the entire universe from the Kalakuta poison. So just like that, here it talks about the Tripurasura. The Tripurasuras were creating a havoc to the entire universe. No one were able to withstand them. Even Brahma and Vishnu were not able to withstand them. Linga Purana describes that Brahma, Vishnu and Indra, they do Koti Rudra Japakatvena. They chant the Rudra hymns for 1 crore times. And then Mahadeva appears in beautiful Shuddha Spatika Sankasha form, Hiranya Varna, with Para Shakti in the left lap, and along with Ganesha, Kartikeya and Nandi. And then all of them fall, all the Devas, Brahma, Vishnu and Indra, they fall at the feet of Maheshwara. Oh Maheshwara, the Tripurasuras are creating a havoc. They are creating havoc to this entire universe. All the devas are in distress. You have to find a way in order to kill them. And then Mahadeva says, I'll take care of this. And then this verse, specific verse, Vyasa describes about how all the devas actually are puppets in the hands of Mahadeva. They actually participate in the Leela of Mahadeva. Mahadeva doesn't require all the devas to kill Tripurasuras. It describes that Mahadeva is the center of attraction in the Tripura Samharam. The chariot which Mahadeva drives was given by Indra, and then Brahma becomes the charioteer. The two wheels of the chariot are the sun and the moon, and the four horses, the four Vedas, Rig, Sama, Yajur and Atharvana, become the four horses. And then the Meru Parvata becomes the bow. The Meru Parvata serves Mahadeva by becoming a bow for Mahadeva, and then the arrow string is Vasuki. And then the arrow, Vishnu becomes the arrow. The feathers, if you see the end of the arrow, the feathers are there. The feathers, Vayu becomes the feathers in the arrow. And Kalagni Rudra. Rudra is different, and Rudra and Paramashiva are different. We described that. How Narayana arises from the left limb of Maheshwara, Brahma arises from the right limb of Maheshwara, and then Rudra arises from the heart of Mahadeva. That Kalagni Rudra becomes the tip of the arrow. This is beautifully explained in the Kashi Kandam again. It describes how all the Devatas come and act as actually puppets or instruments in the hands of Maheshwara. And so that's what is described here. And then Mahadeva doesn't need these personalities in order to kill the Tripurasura. With a twink of his eye, he can just vanquish the Tripurasuras. But he wants to give credits to all the Devas. And that's why all the Devas, he uses all the Devas and then he kills Tripurasura finally. He burns them into ashes. In the Mangala Shlokam of Mahadeva, for Mahadeva, it says, Namaste astu Bhagavan Vishveshwaraya Mahadevaya Trayambakaya Tripurantakaya. Tripura Antaka. Antaka means end. And Tripura means the Tripurasuras, the three Asuras. So, the one who destroyed the Tripurasuras. That's why he's called as Tripurantakaya. And Vyasa says here, who is in par? Who is on par with Mahadeva, who killed the Tripurasuras and he burnt them actually into ashes using the Devas. So there the connection, if you see in the previous verse, he describes, Vyasa describes that Mahadeva, all the Devas had to surrender to Mahadeva to get rid of the Kalakuta poison. Here also he describes all the Devas had to surrender to Mahadeva to get rid of Tripurasura, who was creating a havoc to the entire universe. Even Tarakasura. Tarakasura, we know, like he got a boon that only by the son of Mahadeva, if death has to come, it should be only through the son of Mahadeva for me. He gets a boon like that. And then all the Devas request Mahadeva. We are going to see that in the next verse. Yam Kandarpo Vikshamanaha Samanam Devair Anyair Basmajatak Swayamhi Paushpair Banaik Sarva Vishvaika Jeta Kova Stutyah Kama Jetus Tatonyaha. This Kandarpa, Kama Deva is known for inducing lust in all the Jivatmas and all the Devas. The entire universe is bound by Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsarya. Kama means lust. Krodha means anger. Lobha means greed. Moha means illusion. Mada means madness. And also Matsarya means jealousy. The entire universe is bound by this Raga Dvesha completely. No one will be able to conquer Kama. We see examples in the Shastras. Tara is described as the second wife of Brihaspati Maharishi, who is the priest for the Devas. Brihaspati Maharishi is described as the priest of the Devas, and whatever the Devas do, Indra or Varuna or Agni or Vayu, they do it by getting the consent of Brihaspati Maharishi. And Tara felt, okay, she was being ignored by Brihaspati Maharshi. Brihaspati Maharshi is too much involved in the activities of guiding the devas. And Chandra comes there. Chandra comes there and then he looks at Tara. He gets attracted to the beauty of Tara, and Tara also gets attracted to the beauty of Chandra, and both of them unite together. And through them, Buddha is born. That is not Gautam Buddha, the planet Buddha. So we see here Chandra was bound by Kama, lust, and he got attracted to another man's wife. And coming to Indra, Indra was attracted to Gautama's wife Ahalya. Gautama and Ahalya were there, and Indra, looking at the beauty of Ahalya, during Gautama's absence, he takes the form of Gautama and then he mates with Ahalya. And for that he gets punishment also. But the thing is that Indra was bound by Kama, lust. Vyasa Maharishi, also we see the Maharishi is also getting attracted to the Apsaras, many Apsaras. Vyasa Maharishi gets attracted to a woman called, an Apsara called Gritachi. Vishwamitra Maharishi gets attracted to a woman called Menaka, and through her he begets Shakuntala. Shakuntala is the daughter of Vishwamitra and Menaka. Through Menaka, Vishwamitra Maharishi begets Shakuntala, and then through her the Bharata dynasty is established. So the thing is that Vishwamitra Maharishi, the Maharshis, great Maharshis like Vishwamitra and Vyasa also, they were bound by lust. And Brahma, we see the fifth head of Brahma was cut off by Kala Bhairava. Mahadeva's Ugra Amsha, and Mahadeva's Ugra Amsha is Kala Bhairava, not Mahadeva himself. Mahadeva's Ugra Amsha, Kala Bhairava, cuts the fifth head of Brahma and destroys the Ahankara of Brahma. So even Brahma is bound by lust. And coming to Vishnu. Vishnu, in Shiva Maha Purana, it is described in the Shatarudra Samhita, where the story of Rishabha, Mahadeva taking the form of Rishabha. Vishnu once goes to Patala Loka and he gets attracted to the women in Patala Loka, and he stays there, forgetting his real position. He falls into Shiva Maya. From the blade of a grass till Vishnu, everything is bound by this lust. Everything is bound by Kama. And we'll be looking at the personality who is not touched by Kama. And Vishnu goes there and then he gets attracted to the woman, and then he stays there, and then he begets children also. And then Mahadeva takes the form of Rishabha and then goes there and teaches a lesson to Vishnu. He also, and without even knowing it was Mahadeva, Vishnu was fighting with Mahadeva, and then he realizes, by Shiva's grace, he realizes, what am I doing? I am fighting with my own Lord. Oh Mahadeva, I have done the greatest sin, and he falls at the feet of Mahadeva. Please forgive me. And then Mahadeva forgives him, and he also gives the Sudarshana Chakra. This comes in the Shiva Maha Purana. And another instance where in Padma Purana it is described, Priyangadam Samaligya Chuchumbarati Lolupa Mokshadapya Dikam Saukyam Vrinda Mohana Sambhavam. Padma Puranam, 6th canto, 15th chapter, 42nd verse. We know the story of Jalandhara, and Jalandhara was finally defeated by Mahadeva. But Vrinda is described as the wife of Jalandhara. And then Vishnu takes the form of Jalandhara in the absence of Jalandhara, and he goes and he mates with Vrinda. It is described in Padma Purana, by looking at the beauty of Vrinda, he forgets Lakshmi. This is the power of Kama, guys. It will make you forget everything completely. This is the power of lust. And everything from the blade of a grass till Vishnu, everything is bound by that lust. We see those examples. And there are many examples where Brahma, Vishnu and Indra are described getting bound by lust and anger, Kama, Krodha. But our dear Mahadeva, when the Devas, Tarakasura, the reason I mentioned about Tarakasura is that Tarakasura got a boon saying that only by the son of Mahadeva, if death has to come to me, it should be only through the son of Mahadeva and not by anyone else. And then the Devas planned to unite Parvati Mata and Parameshwara. Parvati Mata beautifully describes the Parvati Mata, when she looks at Mahadeva, she describes the beauty. When she looks at, she goes with her servants, Jaya and Vijaya. Jaya and Vijaya are the servants of Parvati Mata, and there are various attendants of Parvati Mata. They come, and then Parvati Mata encounters Mahadeva within the cave, being served by Shiva Ganas, and also served by Brahma, Vishnu, and Indra, and Lakshmi, and Saraswati, and Indrani. She looks at the beauty of Mahadeva. She beautifully describes Mahadeva. And this Mahadeva, she desired to marry. When the rishis came to her and asked, why don't you marry Vishnu or Indra or Brahma? Why do you want to get married to a person who has ashes all over his body and who is wearing the elephant skin and tiger skin and man lion skin and who has 3 eyes? And Para Shakti replies, Brahma, Vishnu, Indra, Munayor, Janma, Mrityu, Jaraditaha. This comes in the Matsya Puranam, 154th chapter, and also in the Padma Puranam, Srishti Kandam. Brahma, Vishnu, Indra, Munayor, Janma, Mrityu, Jaraditaha. They are bound. The personalities that you are talking, Rishis, Brahma, Vishnu, and Indra are bound by birth, old age, disease, and death. Whereas I want to get married to the eternal, the one who doesn't have birth, the one who is birthless. I want to get married to that eternal personality, and that is Mahadeva alone. She gives a fitting reply to the sages, and the sages shut their mouth. They shut their mouth, and then they go away. And that Mahadeva is envisioned by Parvati Mata. She describes the beauty from the feet till the head of Mahadeva. She describes the beauty to her attendants. These are some things that we need to meditate on. We have to envision. When we read these things, we have to envision these things in front of our eyes. Very beautiful scene. The divine mother of the entire universe describing the divine father of the entire universe. And then the devas think of a plan. Okay, let's devise a plan. Let's call Kamadeva and try to make him to induce Kama in the mind of Mahadeva. And then Kama is kind of afraid to do that, but Indra and other devas, Brahma and Vishnu, force him. And then Kama is about to release his arrow, trying to induce lust. He dances along with Rati in front of Mahadeva, and then he tries to induce lust in the mind of Mahadeva, and Mahadeva opens his third eye. And then he burns Kamadeva into ashes. The only conqueror of Kama is Mahadeva. And that's what Vyasa Maharishi says here. Yam kandarpo vikshamanaha samanam devair anyair basmajataha swayam hi. Kamadeva thought Mahadeva to be equal to other devas. Okay, he is just like other devas. I can induce Kama in his mind. That's what Kamadeva thought. And he became Basma. Basmajataha swayam hi. He became Basma. He was reduced to ashes. And who is worthy of eulogy? He says, who is worthy to be glorified? Aushpair Banai Sarva Vishvaika Jeta Kova Stutyah Kama Jetus Tatonyaha. Who is worthy to be glorified? Apart from the conqueror of Kama. That's why he is called as Kameshwara. He is the Ishvara of Kama. Vishnaveshwara, Ishvara of Vishnu. Brahmeshwara, Ishvara of Brahma. Indreshwara, Ishvara of Indra. Yameshwara, Markandeshwara, Sarveshwareshwara. He is the Ishvara of the Sarveshwaras. He is described as Anishwara. There is nothing, there is no Lord that is to rule, there is no Lord to rule over him. That's why he is called as Kameshwara. Who is worthy of eulogy? Vyasa says. Apart from that Kameshwara, who is worthy to be glorified and who is worthy to be worshipped? And then moving on to the next verse. Yamvai Vedo no naiva Vishnur Nava Veda no Mano naiva Vani Tam Devesham Madrisha Kolpa Meda Yatatnyadvai Vetyaho Vishwanatam. He says, which man of meager intellect like me can understand Vishwanatha? Vyasa was completely in pride and arrogance when he entered Kashi, and he made a statement saying that he was raising his chest, and then he said Vishnu alone is the essence of the Vedas. And now he says, which man of meager intellect like me? He says, meager intellect. With just my knowledge, how can I glorify Vishwanatha? That is, he was in Ahankara, and then Nandi crushed his Ahankara by paralyzing his hands. And now see, if you see how we dance, this is the example. He was dancing in Ahankara in the beginning. And now, after knowing that he is nothing in front of that Paratpara Purusha Mahadeva, he says, which man of meager intellect, with my intellect, can I glorify Vishwanatha, that Vishwanatha, whom even the Vedas cannot understand? Nova Vedatvam Isha Sakshat Viveda, Nova Vishnur no Vidata Kilasya. The same verses, slightly modified. This verse is mentioned by Vishwanara Maharshi in Abhilasha Ashtakam. Nova Vedatvam Isha Sakshat Viveda, Nova Vishnur no Vidata Kilasya. Vidata, Brahma, Vishnu and the Vedas cannot understand you. The same is repeated by Vyasa Maharishi. Yam vai Vedo, Veda no Naiva, Vishnur Nava, Veda no Mano Naiva Vani. Even Brahma, Vishnu, even the mind, the human mind cannot catch you, O Mahadeva. You cannot be known by speech, you cannot be known by words, and you cannot, even Brahma and Vishnu are searching for your beginning and end. We see that Anadyantamadhyam Param Tattvamartham Chidakaramekam Turiyam Tvameyam Hari Brahma Mrigyam. Even Hari and Brahma are searching for your beginning and end, O Mahadeva. They are still searching for your feet. This story is present in almost all the Puranas. 14 to 15 Puranas, and Shivaratri is also coming. Arunachala Mahatmyam and those kind of things should be read. Shiva Puranam. This story should be definitely read. Where Brahma and Vishnu are searching for the beginning and end of Mahadeva. And here he says, the mind and speech cannot understand you. And one can very well misinterpret this verse, guys. Okay, the mind, okay, the human mind cannot understand you. The speech cannot, even you cannot be glorified by words. So one will think, okay, fine, the Supreme Reality is formless. He doesn't have a form. That's what? No, actually. So our human mind cannot conceive that there is a personality, who is completely with divine spiritual attributes. Our human mind cannot conceive that. That is a true reality. And Mahadeva's divine attributes and characteristics and qualities are glorified in the Upanishad also. Pushan Ekarshe Yamasurya Prajapatya Vyuha Rashmin Samoha Tejo Yatte Rupam Kalyanatamam Datte Pashyami Yosav Asau Purushaha Soham Masmi. In the 15th verse of Ishavasya Upanishad, it describes, please, I want, the golden effulgence is coming out of your body, O Mahadeva. Please, I want to see the beautiful, the face, the form behind that golden effulgence. That Supreme Reality has a form. I want to see that form. Kalyana Gunangal, with the divine qualities and attributes and characteristics, who is complete in qualities, attributes and characteristics. He is Saguna Brahma. I also have a video released in my channel talking about where Vishnu actually bathes in the sacred ash, and also he eats the sacred ash for having Shiva Jnana. So one lesson learnt through that reference in Padma Purana is that, and also it is present in the Brihajabala Upanishad, Padma Puranam, 5th canto, 105th chapter. So one learning is that Mahadeva says, when Vishnu meditates on a Jyoti within his heart, Mahadeva says, your knowledge is incomplete, O Vishnu. But after that, when he eats the sacred ash and he bathes in the sacred ash, and then he meditates in his heart and he sees a divine form of Shuddha Spatika Sankasham Trinetram Vibhujam Shivam Varadam Dakshino Haste Vamecha Abhayadam Vibhum Pancha Varshiya Papusham Sharat Chandra Yutadyutam. Very beautiful. Shuddha Spatika Sankasham. His camphor white in color or golden in color. Trinetram, three-eyed personality. He was looking at the three-eyed personality within his heart. Trinetram Vibhujam. He was having two hands. Shivam. Varadam Dakshino Haste. With his right hand, he was giving boons. Vamecha Abhayadam Vibhum. He was showing his Abhaya Mudra with his left hand. That Panchavarshi Vapusham. He was described as a 5-year-old personality. He was looking like 5 years. He is described as the oldest of the oldest. Jyeshtai namo Jyeshtaya cha Kanishtaya cha namak Purvajaya cha Parajaya cha namo. Nothing is Purvam to Mahadeva. He is the first. He is the birthless personality. And that personality was envisioned by Vishnu when he envisions Mahadeva's form, and then he realized, oh, that Mahadeva who is standing in front of me is who is actually in the heart, and then he falls at the feet of Mahadeva. And then he says, Nashaktim Basmano Jane, Prabhavam va Kutastava, Namastestu Twameva Sharanam Gataha. Oh Mahadeva, I cannot even understand the glories of the sacred ash. How can I understand your glories? He says, so from this, Basma is very important to understand Shiva Tattva. And another learning is that when Vishnu looks at the divine form of Mahadeva in the heart, then Mahadeva says, now your knowledge is complete. So, meditating on the form of Mahadeva is the greatest, and the Supreme Reality has a form. It is just our mind cannot understand that the Supreme Reality has a form and he is complete in attributes and he is perfect. Om Purna Madah Purnam. He is described as Purnam. He is complete. Whereas we are incomplete. He is Nitya. We are Anitya. He is Avyaya. He is imperishable. We are Vyaya. We are perishable. He is Achintya. We are Chintya. So that's how he is described. Tam Devesham Madrisha Kolpa Meda Yatatnyadvai Vetyaho Vishwanatham. How can I glorify you? With my little knowledge, how can I even glorify you, O Vishwanatha? Vyasa says this. The one who split the Vedas into 4 is speaking like this. And then moving on, Yasmin Sarvam Yastu Sarvatra Sarvo Yovai Karta Yovita Yopaharta Noyas Yadiryah Samastadi Reko Noyas Yanto Yonta Krittam Natosmi. He says, I bow down to him. I bow down to that personality wherein everything is stationed and everything is within him. And that's why Kaivalya Upanishad says, Sarva Bhutastam Atmanam Sarva Bhutani cha Atmani Sampashyan Brahma Paramam Yatinanyena Hetuna. Sarva Bhutastam Atmanam. Everything is a part and parcel of that Mahadeva. Sarva Bhutani cha Atmani. And everything, all the that Mahadeva is present in the heart of all the living entities. We see that. Dakram Vipapam Parame Eshvabhotam Yat Pundarikam Puramadhya Sagumstam is present in the heart. Namah Shivaya Varga, Nadandar Varga, Imai Purudum Yen Nenjil. Nenjil means Hridayam. Kadrudraya Prachetase Metushtamaya Tavyase Vochema Shantamagam Hriday. Asmin Brahmapure Veshma Dakharam Yedidam Mune Pundarikam tu Tanmadye Akasho Dakharo Stita Sa Shivaha Sachidanandaha Sodveshtavyo Mumukshubihi Ayam Kriti Stitaha Sakshi Sarvesham Avisheshataha Tenayam Kritayam Proktaha Shivaha Samsara Mochakaha Shambur Akasha Madhye Atharvashika, sorry. Shvetashvatra Upanishad also says Krida Kridistam Ya Etad Viduramritaste Bhavanti. Guhashayaha. Many places. Guhashayam Nishkalam Advitiyam, Kaivalya Upanishad. He is present in the heart of all the living entities. All the jivas are his part and parcel, and he is present as the Antaratma, inner soul of all the living entities, and also within the hearts of the Devas. Devanagam Kritayebhyo. Rudram says Brahma, Vishnu and Indra. He is also present in the hearts of Brahma, Vishnu and Indra. We saw those examples, how Brahma and Vishnu and Indra meditate in their hearts on Samba Shiva, and who is everywhere. Sarvo Vai Rudraha, who is all and who is the maker and who is the protector and who is the destroyer. Pancha Krityani Yantaram, Pancha Brahmatmakam Brihat, Pancha Brahmopasamharam, Kritva Swatmani Samstitaha, Pancha Brahmopanishad. Pancha Kritya, he is the doer of 5 activities. Creation, maintenance, destruction, putting the jivas into illusion. Mayam to Prakritam Vidya, Mayinam to Maheshwaram. By falling into that Maya only, Vyasa makes that offensive statement. By falling into that Maya, everybody from the blade of a grass till Vishnu are bound by Shiva Maya. They are bound by Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsarya. They are bound by Karma, Anava and Mala. They are bound by Sattva, Rajas, Tamas, Gunas. Only Mahadeva, that Mahadeva alone is described as beyond the 3 gunas, is not touched by Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsarya. So that personality, that Kameshwara, the one who burnt Kamadeva into ashes, when one meditates on the feet of that personality who burnt Kamadeva into ashes, then we will also go beyond the 3 modes of material nature, and we also, even Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsarya will not touch us. And there is one Acharya, he says, he challenges Kamadeva. Oh Kamadeva, you know, I am actually devoted to Mahadeva. And you know who Mahadeva is? He burnt you into ashes. So don't dare touch me. You will become, my Mahadeva will burn you again into ashes. One of the great Acharyas says. So here it says also who is everywhere and who is all and who is the maker and who is the protector, and he is the doer of 5 activities. Mayam to Prakritim Vidya, Mayinam to Maheshwaram. And then he gives Anugraha, finally liberation. The form of Chidambara Nataraja itself showcases that he is the doer of 5 activities. That unique form of Chidambara Nataraja, the 20-minute video is there in my channel, one can refer that. And then Pancha Kritin Yantaram, Pancha Brahmatmakam Brigat. Pancha Brahmatmakam Brigat. Pancha Brahma, Sadhyojata, Vamadeva, Aghora, Tatpurusha, Ishana. The knowledge of Sadhyojata, Vamadeva, Aghora, Tatpurusha, Ishana is highest. Brihat. Brihate cha varshiyase. Jeshtaya cha kanishtaya cha namak purvajaya cha parajaya cha Vamadeva yanamo. Jeshtaya namak shrestaya namo. He is the supreme. That knowledge of Mahadeva is described as the highest. Brihat. Mahadeva alone is referred to as Brihat. In Rudram, Brihate Chavarshiyase, Mahadeva is referred to as Brihat. And he is the smallest of the smallest. Aniyasam, Aniyamsam, Brihatyascha Brihattaram. Anoraniyan, Mahato Mahiyan, Atma Guhayan, Nihitosya Dantoho. That personality who is the smallest of the smallest and the largest of the largest is residing in the heart of all the living entities and the heart of all the Devas. Pancha Brahmatmakam Brigat, Pancha Brahmopa Samharam. After these 5 personalities disappear, still he remains. Mahadeva alone remains at the end of dissolution. Brahma, Vishnu and Indra keep changing. They are positions that can be acquired and they are also bound to destruction. Brahma, Vishnu, Indra, Munayor, Janma, Mrityu, Jaraditaha. Nandi says, Brahmatvam, Lokapalatvam, Shakratvam. I am not interested in the becoming Brahma, Vishnu or Indra, O Mahadeva. Just give me unflinching devotion to your feet and give me that boon where I will worship only you and not anyone else. And the same is told by Upamanyu Maharshi in Anushasana Parvam, 18th chapter. Brahmatvam, Keshavatvam, Shakratvam. The positions of Brahma, Vishnu and Indra are not eternal, O Mahadeva. Give me unflinching devotion to your feet. Andakasura says the same thing in the Skanda Purana. 5th canto, 1st section, 38th chapter. Brahmam cha Vaishnavam Aindram va Padma Vritti Lakshanam. The positions of Brahma, Vishnu and Indra are not everlasting, O Mahadeva. They are not perpetual. So please give me unflinching devotion to your feet and please give me the post of the leadership of the Ganas, Ganapatyam. Ganadipatyam, where it comes in the Atharvashira Upanishad. That Ganadipatyam. One will get the post of the leadership of the Ganas in Para Kailasha by just reading the Atharvashira Upanishad. We saw those in the 3 lectures of the Atharvashira Upanishad. So that's where it says, and Pancha Krityan Yantaram, Pancha Brahmatmakam Brigat, Pancha Brahmopasamharam, Krutva Swatmani Samstitaha. Para Shakti and Parama Shiva are the only one who remain at the end of dissolution. His Loka alone is eternal. That's what it says. Who is the protector and who is the destroyer, who has no beginning and who is the cause of everything. Kritpundarikam Pirajam Vishuddham Vichinyamadye Vishatam Vishokam Achintyam Avyaktam Ananta Rupam Shivam Prashantam Amritam Brahma Yonim Tam Adi Madhya Anta Vihinamekam. He is described as the beginning, middle and end of all the living entities. And who is also described as who has no beginning and no end. When Brahma and Vishnu are fighting in Ahankara, he comes in the size of a span and then he increases in size. He shows his infinite form. That Arupa aspect is only the aspect of Maheshwara. And that Maheshwara has a beautiful form. He comes in his Shuddha Spatika Sankasha form and then crushes the Ahankara of Brahma and Vishnu and then blesses them. That's why Vyasa says, the one who has no beginning and who is the cause of everything. Sarva Karana Karanam. Yoga Tattva Upanishad. Yoga Yajnavalkya Smriti. When it describes about that Samba Shiva, it describes he is 5-faced and 10 hands. He has Para Shakti in his left lap, and he has 3 eyes in each face, so 15 eyes in total, and he has a Chandra, beautiful Chandra. This is how we have to meditate. He has a beautiful Chandra on his forehead, and that Mahadeva is described as Sarva Karana Karana. He is the cause of all causes. There is no cause for him. And that's where he is also in the Panchabrahma Upanishad. Also, he is described as Sarva Karana Karanam. Karanam Karananam Vyata Karanam tu Jyeyaha Sarvaishwarya Sampannaha Shambhurakasha Madhye. Atharvashika Upanishad. The cause of all causes only should be meditated upon, and that is Mahadeva alone. So casting aside Brahma, Vishnu and Indra, just meditate on that Mahadeva. Shiva Eko Dhyeyaha Shivam Karaha Sarvamanyat Parityajya Samasta Atharvashikaita Maditya Dvijo Garbhavasad Vimukto Vimuchyata Eta Maditya Dvijo Garbhavasad Vimukto Vimuchyata Iti Satyam Upanishad. It ends by saying that just meditate on Mahadeva. He alone is the doer of good. He alone is the giver of moksha. He alone is the giver of material and if you want any kind of material pleasures, he alone is the one who gives that. And if you want moksha, he alone is the one who can give that. So just casting aside everybody, Brahma, Vishnu and Indra, just meditate on that Mahadeva. That's what the Upanishad says. And here Vyasa also says the same thing. Who is the sole one who has no end and who causes the end of everything. Who has no end and who causes the end of everything. As Rudra, Narayana appears from the left limb and Brahma appears from the right limb of Maheshwara. Rudra appears from the heart of Mahadeva and he destroys. Rudra destroys the entire universe and who causes the end of everything. That's what Vyasa says here. And 2 more verses. 62. Yasyaikakya vajimedena tulya yasya natya Chaikayalpendra Lakshmihi Yasya Stutya Labhyate Satyaloka Yasyarchato Moksha Lakshmi Radura. He says, just by uttering his name, Shiva Shiva, one can, it is equal to doing 1 horse sacrifice. Ashwamedha Yajna. We see that it is described that if one does 100 horse sacrifices, he can become Indra. If one does 1000, he can become Brahma. So just Vyasa describes, just by uttering his name, it is equal to doing 1 horse sacrifice. But devotees are not interested in this. I'll speak about that in detail. And by a single bowing down to whom, just by bowing down to him, prosperity was attained by the insignificant Indra. He says, Alpa Indra, insignificant Indra, because Indra keeps changing. I was looking at something, So like we have the Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapara Yuga and Kali Yuga. Right? The Kali Yuga is said to last for 4,32,000 years. And Dwapara Yuga, the age of that Yuga was 4,32,000 multiplied by 2. And 4,32,000 multiplied by 3 is the age of Treta Yuga. And the age of Satya Yuga, that is the first Yuga, is 4,32,000 multiplied by 4. So when you count everything together, Satya, Treta, Dwapara, Kali, it is equal to around 4.32 million human years. That is 43,20,000 years. That is one Yuga. That is one Mahayuga. And that 1,000 times of 1,000 times 1,000 Mahayugas make actually 1 day of Brahma. The 1 day of Brahma is actually 1,000 Mahayugas. That is 4.32 million human years multiplied by 1,000. 4.32 billion human years is actually 12 hours of Brahma. And then 12 hours of night. The night of Brahma is also there. So that 1 day, 24 hours of Brahma is 8.64 billion human years. So the total lifespan of Brahma is actually around 311 trillion human years. The 100 years. Brahma also has an age. And the interesting thing is that within that every day of Brahma, 14 Indras keep changing. 14 Indras keep changing within every day of Brahma. So Indra also keeps changing. That's what it says. There is a beautiful verse also in Skanda Purana which describes that we are insects when compared to Indra, but that Indra himself is an insect when compared to Brahma, because 14 Indras keep changing for a day of Brahma. So we can just imagine how many Indras come and go. And then Brahma is described as actually an insect in front of Vishnu, because every 4 inhalings of Vishnu, Brahma appears actually. Just as Brahma is an insect in front of Vishnu, that Vishnu himself is an insect in front of that Samba Shiva, Parameshwara. Even Vishnu is also bound by age. Skanda Purana, 6th canto, that is Nagara Kandam, 194th chapter and 272nd chapter has the details. It is also present in the Padma Purana, Patala Kanda, 108th chapter if I am not wrong. So it describes that Vishnu, for every Maheshwara's inhalings, 4 inhalings, Vishnus, crores and crores of Vishnus come and go. So even Indra, Brahma and Vishnu have age. That is the learning from this. So prapatti or surrender should be done to that personality who is not bound by birth and death. We have wasted millions and millions of lives. We have been Indras and Brahmas and Vishnus, and we have wasted millions and millions of lives, and there is no point in wasting any more lives, and surrender should be done to that personality who is birthless, who doesn't have destruction. Upper Tirunavakarasar says, Nuru Kodi Brahmargal Nundinar, Aru Kodi Narayanar Angane, Ere Gangai Manal Yennil Indirar, Irilladavan Isan Uruvane. He says, Nuru Kodi, 100 crore Brahmas come and go. 6 crore Narayanas come and go. Indras, one cannot even count the Indras. He says, Yere Gangai Manal Yennil Indira. The sand particles, the particles of the sand that is present in the Ganga river, you cannot count the particles of the sand. That many Indras come and go. So many Brahmas and Narayanas and Indras come and go, but Irilladavan Isan Urvane, that Maheshwara, Mahadeva, Samba Shiva, who is glorified in the Vedanta, that personality alone, who is not bound by, he doesn't come and go, he is eternal, he is Shashvatam, he is Avyaya, he is Nitya. That personality alone we need to surrender to. That's what he says here. And so that's what. And here Indras, that's why here Vyasa uses Alpa Indra, insignificant Indra. He is insignificant. And Indra acquired prosperity by worshipping Maheshwara. And one can obtain Satyaloka by worshipping Maheshwara, and by whose adoration the glory of salvation is not far off. By adoring him, the salvation is not far away. You can acquire apavarga, you can acquire that moksha very easily. But a devotee is not interested in any of these things. He is not interested in acquiring the credit of a horse sacrifice. He is not interested in acquiring Satyaloka or Swarga or Vaikunta. He is not interested in attaining even the posts of Indra, Brahma and Vishnu. Just like Nandi says, give me that boon where I will worship only you and not anyone else. So we should not even allow our mind we should not give ourselves a chance to worship anybody else apart from Mahadeva. And we have to, this is the boon that Nandi asks. So even by chance, by mistake, if I do that, I should not do that. So give me that boon where I will worship only you and not worship anybody else. So just Mahadeva's worship alone will give you bhukti and mukti. Nobody else can do that. In Sutta Samhita, Yajñavaibhava Kandam, that is the fourth canto, 25th chapter, Satyasanda. He is a devotee of Vishnu and he comes to Dwaraka and he glorifies Krishna. And then Krishna says, finally he stops Satyasanda and he says, just worship Mahadeva alone. Myself, Brahma and Indra exist by the grace of Mahadeva, O dear Satyasanda. and we cannot grant moksha. Myself, Brahma and Indra cannot grant moksha. It is only Mahadeva who is the giver of that ultimate liberation. If you want to get relieved from the cycles of birth and death, just cast aside Brahma and Indra and myself and worship Shiva. See, he says, Krishna says, just leave me also. Leave me also and worship only Mahadeva. And he makes a very important statement. 51st verse of the 25th chapter, one can refer that. He says, Satyasanda, if someone is my worshipper and he worships only me and he discards Maheshwara, even if he take crores and crores of births, he will never attain liberation. He can never cross the repeated cycles of birth and death. This is the truth. This comes from the mouth of Vishnu himself. And he says this to his dear devotee. So, we see that. And even Upamanyu Maharshi, Shvetashpatara Maharshi, Gautama Maharshi, everybody aspired. They were not interested in attaining the positions of Brahma, Vishnu and Indra. Jaimini Maharshi says in the 141st verse of Narada Puranam, Uttara Bhagam, Narada Puranam, Uttara Bhagam, chapter 73, the greatness of Trayambakeshwara, in that 141st verse, he says, Haristu Daso, Lokavattu Leela Kaivalyam, O Mata Para Shakti. This whole world is you and your husband's sport. It is your sport and Paramashiva's sport. It is you and Paramashiva. You are playing this Leela. It is your sport at the end of the day. That Mahadeva is your pati. He is your husband. Haristu Daso. Hari and Brahma are your dasas, are your servants. Anuchari, Lakshmi, Vani, Saras, Indrani. Anuchari means maid servant. Dasa means servant. Anuchari means maid servant. So Lakshmi, Saraswati and Indrani, that is Shachi, the wife of Indra, are your maid servants, O Mata. Everybody are instruments in your hands, in your and Paramashiva's hands. He says, Jaimini Maharshi says that. So everywhere, Mahadeva alone is glorified. A devotee is not interested in aspiring the position of even Indra, Brahma or Vishnu, or he is not interested in acquiring women or prosperity. He is not interested in those things. But there is nothing wrong in having desires. Sakama should become Nishkama. Sakama, one should worship Maheshwara with desires and then it should become Nishkama in course of time. And there is nothing wrong in utilizing everything in the service of Mahadeva. So for example, if one wants to gain more money, I want to earn more. I want to earn more. For using that money for building temples for Mahadeva, for using that money for serving Shiva Bhaktas, then there is nothing wrong. Because Isha Vasyam Idakam Sarvam Yatkincha Jagatyam Jagat Tena Tyaktena Bunjita Ma Kridak Kasyas Viddanam. When you see this Jivas and the Jagat as actually part and parcel of Mahadeva, as belonging to Mahadeva, the sole proprietor is Mahadeva alone. So I have to utilize everything in the service of Mahadeva, then there is nothing wrong. Whereas when we start thinking, okay, this is mine, okay, we can say this is mine, but for how long? How many years we can say that? How many years we can proclaim that this is mine? Be it relationships or be it possessions, everything is for a short term. Everything is under the control of Mahadeva. Everything is belonging to Mahadeva. And final verse, Nanyam Devam Vednyaham. It's a very interesting verse. Nanyam Devam Vednyaham Shri Maheshan Nanyam Devam Staumi Shambho Riteham Nanyam Devam Va Namami Trinetrat Satyam Satyam Satyametan Vrishana. He says, let me not worship anybody. I do not know anybody. I do not know anybody apart from Maheshwara. I will not eulogize, I will not praise anybody apart from Shambhu. These are the words of Vyasa himself. And that Vyasa only said in Kurma Purana to Arjuna, Oh Arjuna, you saw that Vishwarupa of Maheshwara before the battle of Kurukshetra. Trishtavanasi tam devam Vishvaksham Vishvatomukam Pratyakshameva sarvesham Rudram sarva jaganmayam Jnanam tad aishwaram didyam Yatavat viditam tvaya Swayameva krishikeshak prityo vacha sanatanaha. Bhagavad Gita itself is Shiva Swarupa. That Mahadeva is the Tatparyam of Bhagavad Gita. And that Vyasa also describes in the Drona Parvam Aniyasam Aniyamsam Brigadyascha Brigattaram. Rudram Ishanam Vrishabam Chekitanam Ajam Param. He describes, oh Arjuna, you have seen none other than that Maheshwara himself has favored you and Krishna in this war, and that's why you and Krishna were able to win the war. And also he recounts many leelas of Maheshwara to Ashwatthama and Arjuna. Narayana himself was meditating Urdhva Bahu Shashtim Varsha Sagasrani Tavanti Eva Shatani Cha, Drona Parvam 172nd chapter. He was meditating for 66,000 years on Samba Shiva, Parameshwara. Vyasa recounts this. And how he was meditating? Urdhva Bahu, by keeping his hands, raising his hands upwards and standing on one leg. That's why Haradatta Shivacharya in Natya Shastram he describes one should worship Mahadeva by raising his hands upwards. I was also discussing that day to Kajal Didi that she is very lucky, because in Kashi it describes a Jivatma when it dies in Kashi, during its travel to Para Kailasha, it is worshipped by Brahma, Narayana and Indra. How it is worshipped, how the Jivatma is worshipped? By they fold their hands and they lift their hands, Urdhva Bahu, they lift their hands in front of the Jivatma and they worship the Jivatma, Brahma, Narayana and Indra, on when the Jivatma travels on its way to Para Kailasha. So that Vyasa is describing, and he says, I will not worship anybody apart from Shambhu. I will not bow down to any other Lord apart from the three-eyed one. Who is the three-eyed personality? Uma Sahayam Parameshwaram Prabhum Trilochanam Neelakantam Prashantam. Trilochanam, Kaivalya Upanishad. Three-eyed. Trinetram Neelakantam Trinetram Cha Tanme Manaha Shiva Sankalpamasto. Shiva Sankalpa Suktam. 25th verse. Kailasa Shikarabasa Himavadgiri Kanyakaha Neelakantam Trinetram Cha. He is three-eyed. Very common thing between these two verses is Kaivalya Upanishad. Both are from the Vedas, Kaivalya Upanishad and also the Shiva Sankalpa Upanishad. Very common thing is that here it says Uma Sahayam. That personality, supreme personality is with eternally with Para Shakti. Here it says Himavadgiri Kanyakaha. That supreme personality is with the daughter of the mountains. And here it says Trilochanam in Kaivalya Upanishad. Here it says Trinetram. Both mean three-eyed. And here it says Neelakantam. Here also it says Neelakantam. See how exactly these are the attributes of the supreme reality. Shiva Sankalpa Suktam and also Kaivalya Upanishad. That's why Vyasa says here, I will not worship anybody apart from the three-eyed one. And this is the truth. This is the truth. This is the truth, not a lie. Satyam Satyam Etan Mrishana. Satyam Satyam Satyam. He says the three times. Satyam 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 Etan Mrishana. I remember there is also one more Rishi in the Puranas who beautifully describes Mahadeva. He describes Mahadeva's attributes. He says that I will surrender. I will not surrender to that. I will not surrender to anyone who doesn't have his wife on his left. If you see, Mahadeva alone has his wife on his left. Towards his left, Ardhanari, Mahadeva is on the right, and Mahadeva has Para Shakti to his left. So that's why the Rishi says, I will not surrender to the personality. I will not surrender to any personality who doesn't have his wife on his left. And that's why, which means that I will surrender to that personality who has the wife on his left, and that is Mahadeva alone. Shri Devi is to the right of Vishnu, and Brahma and Indra also, Indrani and Saraswati are to the right of Brahma and Indra. And that's why the Rishi says, I will surrender only to that personality who has the wife on his left. And I will not surrender to the personality who doesn't have three eyes. I will not surrender to that personality who doesn't have three eyes, which means I will not surrender to Brahma, Vishnu or Indra who have just two eyes. Only three-eyed personality we discussed just now is Mahadeva. So I will surrender to that personality who has three eyes. I will not surrender to that personality who doesn't have a Chandra, beautiful Chandra on his forehead. Chandra Chuda, Chandra Chudeshwara, Chandra Maulishwara, Chandrartha Kritashekara. Mahadeva is called as Chandrashekara. Beautiful names are there. He has the Chandra on his forehead. He is called as Someshwara. And from that Someshwara Linga in Andhra arose our dear Jagadguru Shri Renukacharya. So he has the beautiful Chandra on his forehead. So he says, I will surrender only to that personality who has the Chandra on his forehead. And I will not surrender to that personality who doesn't have the tiger skin and the man lion skin and the deer skin as his garments, which means I will surrender only to that personality who has the tiger skin and man lion skin and the deer skin as his garments. Vyagra charmambaradara, the one who has the tiger skin as his garment. Krittivasa or Gaja charmambaradara, the one who has the elephant skin as his garment. Vipa charmambaradara, the one who has the one who has the deer skin. Dvipa means deer, the one who has the deer skin as his garments. Finally, Nrisimha charmambaradara, the one who has the skin of Narasimha as his garment. Nrisimhasya tvacham tata. He destroys the ahankara of all the incarnations of Vishnu and also specifically the incarnation of Narasimha, and he pulls the skin of Narasimha and then he wears that. Like this, the divine attributes of Mahadeva is described. 3 eyes. I will surrender only to that personality who has 3 eyes. I will surrender to that personality who has the wife on his left. I will surrender to that personality who has the tiger skin and the man lion skin as his garments. I will surrender to that personality who has the beautiful Chandra on his forehead. I will surrender to that personality who has 5 faces and 10 hands. Shuddha Spatika Sankasham Trinetram Panchavaktarakam Dashabhujam. Very beautiful, right? So these are the divine attributes, and I will surrender to that personality who is Hiranyavarna, who is defined as Hiranya, golden. We see Krishna Tamapa Vishnu, Brahma, Vishnu and Indra are not described as golden in color. Namo Hiranyabhagave, Hiranyavarnaya, Hiranyarupaya, Hiranyapatage, Ambikapataya, Umapatage, Pashupatage, Namo Namaha. He is described as golden, camphor white in color or golden in color. And that's how a rishi describes. Very beautiful. It talks about the divine attributes. It doesn't directly talk about Mahadeva, but indirectly it glorifies the attributes of Mahadeva and says, I will surrender only to this personality who has 3 eyes and who has a Chandra and who has 5 faces and 10 hands, who has his wife towards his left and who has the garments, who has the tiger skin and the man lion skin as his garments. Which means I will surrender only to Mahadeva and not anyone else. So, very beautiful. And that's how he ends. And finally, what happens after singing this stuti, I want to just also talk about the merits of singing this stuti. We saw that Brahmanda Purana stuti, where the Brahma, Vishnu and Indra, they surrender to Mahadeva when the Kalakuta poison came. And then after singing that stuti, Para Shakti Parama Shiva says to Para Shakti, whoever listens to this will get the Sarupyam, will get my Sarupyam. He says that. And here, by singing this beautiful Vyasa Ashtaka Nandi, because Nandi only paralyzed the arms of Vyasa. This rishi is very arrogant. He seems to actually be in Ahankara and he paralyzed his hands. And after singing, after hearing this beautiful Ashtakam, Shiva Gana, always is interested in hearing the glories of Mahadeva. He is not interested in hearing about his glories. He is interested in hearing the glories of Mahadeva. So Nandi, after completely hearing the beautiful Ashtakam of Vyasa, he makes Vyasa's hands to come to the normal state. And he says, whoever sings this Vyasa Ashtakam with concentration in the morning, all sorts of sins and evil dreams will subside and he will get Sannidhya, Shiva Sannidhyam. What is Shiva Sannidhyam? Being in the eternal company of Mahadeva. Being in the close proximity of Mahadeva in Para Kailasha. One will get that fortune of being getting Shiva Sannidhyam. And then from then on, Vyasa is described whenever he comes to Kashi, because initially we saw how he was in Ahankara, and then it describes after this Ashtakam, it goes on to say, Skanda says, because it is a conversation between Skanda and Agastya Maharishi, this whole Kashi Kandam. And then Skanda says, okay, whenever Vyasa came to Kashi, he used to embellish his whole body with the holy ashes, and he used to embellish his forehead with the Tripundra, with the 3 lines. That's why the creator has created the forehead like this. We discussed that. And he used to wear the Rudraksha Mala and worship Mahadeva and go to Shiva Kshetras alone and worship the Vishveshwara Linga. And he also established a Linga. Even in Kashi, if you go now, all the Devatas and all the Rishis have established Linga in Kashi. Kajal Didi would know this definitely. So there is a Vyaseshwara Linga in Kashi. If we get a chance, we can go to Kashi and recite this Ashtakam in front of Vyaseshwara Linga, and also recite Abhilasha Ashtakam in front of Viresha Linga, which Vishwanara Maharishi did and which also Vyasa did. So with that, thank you for giving me this wonderful opportunity. I will recite the Kshama Prarthana and then we can take up some questions. Om Yadaksharappadabhrishtam Matrahinam tu yadbhavet Tatsarvam Kshamyatam Deva Parameshwara Namostute Visarga Bindu Matrani Padapadaksharani Cha Yunani Cha Tiriktani Kshamasva Parameshwara Aparada Sagasrani Kriyante Harnisham Maya Daso Yimiti Mammatva Kshamasva Parameshwara Anyata Sharanam Nasti Tvameva Sharanam Mama Tasmat Karanya Bhavena Raksha Raksha Maheshwari Anyata Sharanam Nasti Tvameva Sharanam Mama Tasmat Karanya Bhavena Raksha Raksha Parameshwara Etat Sarvam Shri Uma Maheshwara Parabrahmarpanamastu Lalitambike Samba Shivarpanamastu Shrimati Gauri Sameta Samba Shivarpanamastu Karacharanakatam Bhakayajam Karmajam Va Shravananayanacham Va Manasam Va Aparadam Vihitam Avihitam Va Sarvam Etat Kshamasva Jai Jai Karuna Abde Shri Mahadeva Shambho Mata Cha Parvati Devi Pita Devo Maheshwara Bandava Shiva Bhaktamscha Swadesho Bhuvanatrayam Samba Shivaya Namaha Samba Shivaya Namaha Samba Shivaya Namaha Haravom Tat Sat